So right now we're going to talk about the leadership aspect of Velocity. And really, as I've spoken with a lot of credit union CEOs, what I've found is that there are what I call 6 guiding forces, basically, that really strong CEOs use to create velocity. The first 2 have to do with aligning their people, their teams, and creating an alignment framework. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. The next one has to do with communication. The next couple have to do with selecting and developing leaders. And then the last one has to do with expense, with creating low operating expenses. So if I had to leave you with one slide, it would be this right here. This is the most important slide that you're going to see all day. It's called the 8 Pillars of Strategic Alignment. And it brings clarity to your credit union. It gets everybody on the same page. And it starts with knowing who you are. Knowing who you are, your vision, your mission, your core values, your brand promise. Those things are set in stone, and as volunteers, you have a lot of say in that. And those don't change. The next piece is strategy. Now, strategy can change depending on market conditions, interest rates, the economy, what's going on in your locality, etc. Then we come to member needs, and then the member experience. So all members are not created equal. As an analytics guy, I know that. There are different segments of members. We'll talk about them a little bit later. But each of those kinds of members have certain expectations. And those expectations are evolving in terms of the kind of experience that they're going to get with your credit union. Those expectations are higher and higher and higher as they interact with companies like Zappos and Amazon and others. And then we come to communication. We'll call this the glue. And this is your internal communication process. And I'll show you an example of that. But it's key that everybody in your credit union knows what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you're doing it. And then that leads to focused execution. If I'm on the front line serving members, I need to know what is expected of me, what's going to make the biggest impact with my members, and why I'm doing it. Focused execution. And then metrics. How are we going to measure whether or not we're achieving our mission, our vision, our brand promise? How are we going to measure whether our execution is good or not? These are the key metrics that you all can help develop. And then there's innovation. Taking what we've experienced and feeding it back through and saying, what in the world can we do better? Overhauling processes. How can the supervisory committee help better? How can we get better mortgage application rates? All kinds of things like that. Innovation really is the lifeblood of your credit union. And it comes through this system. This is a very tight leadership system. And if you develop something like this, this is kind of like the playing field that you're in. This keeps everybody on the same page, in tune with your core values.